we had Kira Kosarin on today, and it's so awesome because I did grow up watching her show, and then her energy here and how she was saying how she navigated the industry starting at 12 to now being in her 20s, and the different roles that she had to take on throughout all of that is very insightful.
It's so impressive too, and especially with becoming an executive producer on her new movie, which we're going to talk about today, was incredible to hear about, and to her upbringing with being backstage watching her parents perform, like planting that seed was so cool.
It takes everything down, and it's like, we're all just here. We're all just here to try to do the thing that we really want to do. And there's so many different paths that people can take, but we're all in it together at the end of the day.
And I'm so excited for this episode. Hey guys, it's Ava.
And this is Lauren.
And this is
Hold for Sound.
And today we have
Kira
Kosarin.
Kosarin.
You guys crushed that intro.
Thank you.
That was solid.
We've practiced a little bit.
Practiced it quite a bit. Oh my gosh. Kira, we're so happy to have you on.
Thanks for having me.
Of
This room
course.
is so cute. I'm so cozy.
Isn't it? It's like a little warm
Yes, and
blanket.
we love the outfit too.
Thank you. Thank you.
Oh my gosh. So, how have you been? How is life?
Oh, I feel like we just talked about it all, and then
I know.
this keeps happening to me. I keep going on friends' podcasts, and we have like a great conversation. Then we press record, and we're like, "Oh shoot, we've already talked about everything." I'm good. Strike's over. Let's go, baby.
This is the first time. This is our official first episode post-strike.
Yeah.
Movie. My movie's coming out. You can watch my movie. Sorry. I can finally this movie.
Did you just do the Timothy Chalamet?
Yes, fully copied his bit.
Chocolate Man.
Willy Wonka, Chocolate Man, Willy Chocolate Man.
Thundermans, Nickelodeon. Thundermans.
The executive producer of the Thundermans movie, Phoebe Thunderman movie, Super Suit, Dark Mayhem. Strike's over.
Yeah. You didn't know.
Very
The
exciting.
strike.
But
is
other
over.
than that, just living life.
Yeah.
Crocheting a lot.
Hey.
You have been. I've been seeing
I've been in
that.
arts and crafts girl this last couple of months and
I
never
love
been
that.
happier.
I knit.
Nice.
So it's like I feel like maybe we're competitors.
Total.
So-
What is it? It's like hookers versus what are
Needle-
I don't know. Needlers. That's maybe kind of.
maybe that's not the right term.
Maybe that's not.
I'm not sure if that's correct.
No, sure. No, literally, my friends keep texting me and being like, "These arts and crafts are cool. Are you good or are you spiraling?" I'm like,
Both?
yes.
The
I think
answer is
is the
yes.
answer. A
No,
little bit of this, a little bit of
so
that.
funny.
But yeah, I'm good. I'm good.
Amazing.
How are you?
We're
Holding in there.
happy.
shooting 9 episodes of a podcast in a row
pretty much.
and
That's kind
crushing
of
it.
where we're at with all of that.
Yeah. No, but the strike is over. Your movie is coming out, and
It
you were an
is.
executive producer.
I
on it,
was.
and that is so cool.
Isn't that wild?
Yeah. What was the process of coming up with that?
Yeah.
Or like going from actor to producer to
yeah.
do both.
So, yeah, it was really, really cool. So, just for context for anybody who's listening who's like, who is this girl? I was on a Nickelodeon show called The Thundermans from, we booked the pilot, we shot the pilot in 2012, went to series in 2013, and then we filmed until 2017. Show aired until 2018 and new episodes, and then was just repeats. Show was over. And then during COVID, the show had like this big resurgence. So it like went like number 4, number 5 on Netflix. It was really exciting. I think new kids were finding it, and kids who wanted some comfort were refinding it from the streamers. And so Nickelodeon came to me and Paramount Plus saying like, hey, we want to do something with the Thundermans IP. And I was like, no, thank you. Because I was, for a lot of reasons.
Yeah.
One was just I didn't know if I could feasibly do it with the music stuff that was going on. I just signed a deal and I was like trying to figure out the music side of things. And the other was just that like, I had that was like a closed book that it's really scary to go back to. And also just like I care about the show so much, like the legacy, and there's so many reboots that just like kind of destroy the show. And I was like, I don't want to destroy this legacy of this like thing that we have that people like. But they were I don't want to say relentless, but they were like, we would like to do this. How do we make it happen? I was like, okay, but if we do, it's very important to me that this. Like, I just was like, I have a vision for if we're going to do this. I want it to be treated really carefully, and I have a lot of ideas and would love to be part of actually building it and building the story and building the plans and building the idea for it. And luckily they were amenable after saying no a couple of times. They were like, yeah, sure. And so, yeah, so I got into it at the ground and got to start kind of building it up. there were some really like macro decisions to be made at the beginning, even in terms of the genre, because the show was a sitcom, but they wanted to make a movie. And that was really exciting to have like more scale, more budget, more like elevated everything. But I also was really, I don't want to say nervous, but I think that when you take a multicam and you squish it into a single cam, just feels weird. Like if you zap the laugh track out of a show that you're used to watching with a laugh track, it's like, was this ever funny in the first place? So I was like, I think it has to be a hybrid. And they were like, what does that look like? And I was like, let's figure it out together. So
cool.
That was the first big decision that I made as executive producer was making it like this hybrid thing. And then the other big thing that I said was, I was like, I'm not doing this unless we get absolutely everybody back. Like we need everybody, all the guest stars, all the smaller, like everybody who touched this show, to a certain level, like everybody who was an important part of the show needs to come back. And I'm not allowed to spoil who was in it, but I think I can say like everyone came back. Like it's
that's so awesome.
Crazy. It was such a mind trip walking onto set every day. And it was like, these are the 250 people that were around me every day as a teenager in a set that I lived my whole high school experience in. Like they also recreated all the sets from scratch because they had all been put in a storage unit and then destroyed when the show ended.
Holy cow.
What else? I got to be part of the casting process, which was really cool. There's like a couple of new characters in the show that I got to cast, which was really, really fun. And they are absolutely fabulous, the new people in the show.
Yeah, so what were like the differences, like working creatively as a producer then and working as an actor versus just working as an actor on the show initially?
Yeah, well, I mean, pre-production was a whole thing that I never was a part of as just an actor. I mean, you show up a week before for fittings and set school because I was 14 when it started. But being on set was a really interesting juggling act working on both. The first 3 weeks of production, I was like really determined to always be the last one on set, to stay until the very last shot was done, to be a part of everything and make sure I was there for any like decisions that had to be made on the fly. And then by like week 3, and I had only slept 2 hours a night and I had to be in the super suit and I was like not feeling so hot. And I think it eventually like my the show creator and writers and producers, they were all like, Kira, please go home. Like go to sleep. And I was like, it's not because I'm in your way, right? And they're like, no, you just need to like go home, sleep because we need you on camera. You've done your job. So yeah, it was interesting, but it was just really nice to be able to have a little bit more control.
Yeah, that's cool.
Which might speak to my need for control as a person. We don't have to get into the therapy of that. But,
and so then, like, before you decided to do the movie, you were working on your music. You're still working on your music. What was that process like, switching from that?
So when I moved out to LA, I was like, I want to be on Disney or Nickelodeon because then I can do music. I was like, going to be Hannah Montana. That's my power.
Yep.
And ended up on Nickelodeon, ended up not on one of their musical shows due to some contractual tomfoolery, was not able to put out music during the course of the show. So I just wrote, which was fine. I was really busy, especially the first couple of years where I was doing school, and then the later years where we were like traveling internationally and doing promo. Like anytime we weren't filming, there was something to be done. So I wasn't like, I'm bored, I wish I had time to do music. It was like, wouldn't have really had time anyway. But when the show ended, I auditioned for like a year and I was like, I'm not enjoying this. I don't love drama. I don't love single cam. What do I do? Oh, I can finally do music. So I started doing music, but it was a real brain shift because, as you know, although of course the acting industry has changed, like at least when I started, it was very much like you prepare, but you have to wait for opportunities. Yeah. Right. And that's kind of comforting because you're like, all right, they'll call me. And when they call me, I'll show up and I'll do a good job in the audition and I'll book it or I won't. And then with music, it was like, oh, I have to create every opportunity from scratch. Like I have to be the product, sell the product, make the product, market the product, like the product, like improve the product, like all at once. And especially when you're an indie artist, I didn't have any team. I didn't even have a manager. Like it was just me. It's a lot to figure out. And I was in a really awkward position because of my time on TV, I had a lot of access to really big people way before I was ready as an artist. I wasn't a developed enough act to have access to those people yet. So I think damaged some connections and like just stumbled a lot. Eventually kind of found my way a little bit, eventually signed a major label deal, which was, what that is. Didn't work out the way that it would have been nice for it to, but c'est la vie, life is life. We all tried our best. It was just a big mind shift. And now kind of coming back around to the Thundermans movie and TV, it feels like coming home, I felt like a little bit of an outsider in music because I was so late to the game. I didn't start really until I was in my 20s already. And coming back to Thundermans, I was like, oh yeah, this is what I like went to college for, like this is what I like know how to do and feel comfortable and cozy and home sweet home. So it was really nice.
I love that. And like leadership wise, like what are some skills you think you gained while working on the show that have helped you become a producer and work furtherly creatively?
Great question. I think one of the things that I remember noticing on the smaller gigs that I did before booking Thundermans was that, like, number one on the call sheet really sets the tone. The way that actor behaves, the way that they treat the crew, the way that they treat the other set actors really trickles down and makes a big impact on the environment and the feeling, the energy of the whole set. I had some good experiences and some not great experiences. And I remember when I went into Thundermans really making it a priority to make sure that the guest stars always felt comfortable and felt like they were part of the show and knew that they could come into our trailers and eat lunch with us, and like that everybody felt comfortable and that I knew every crew member's name. And that was something like my dad emphasized when I was like 14. I wouldn't have known it otherwise, but just being considerate. And I think that sticks, that travels to anything you do when you're hiring people, like learning how to have relationships that are both business and personal and hit that line in the right place. That's something I'm still always trying to figure out, especially in a creative industry. It can be hard to know like what that line is. But yeah, and then getting to come back to Thundermans, it was just that times 20. You know what I mean?
That's
getting
awesome.
to like try to build the environment that made everybody like happy and comfortable. So
that's like so cool, as like to create that family of like acting. Like you're all there for the same reason to make
doesn't mean we always love each other, but we are a family. And that is how real family is.
It is. That's how family is.
Doesn't mean we always get along, but we try.
But yeah, you're all there to do the same thing to make something really cool.
Yeah, and you are kind of, as you guys like probably know, it's kind of all you have. Like when you're working on set for an extended period of time, you become each other's friends and family and enemies and coworkers. Like you're everything to each other because you spend all your time there.
That's what high school is, and then that's what that was.
Yeah, totally. And especially when we were young, like we were each other's entire social circles. Yeah. It was different this time around, having grown and having our own support systems. I think we all had a really nice time getting to come together, but also be able to come home. Yeah. I had somebody to come home to this time, which I didn't the first time around, which was really nice.
Which is just so great. And like doing school on set too, how was that experience for you, education-wise?
Yeah. My God, it's been so long since I've gotten to talk about this. I love it. It was really interesting. So I booked the show beginning of junior year, beginning of 11th grade. I was 14. Turned 15 on set of the pilot. I had skipped a couple grades, which meant
that's not when I was in it.
I had skipped a couple grades, which was really nice because it meant I only had to do school for the first 2 years of the show. By like halfway through season 2, I graduated on set, ran around school. My set teacher blasted the graduation theme, and I was like, I graduated high school. And then seasons 2, the second half of season 2 and 3 and 4, I was done with school. But it was hard. It was really hard for a few reasons. One was that I don't. It was hard to find set teachers who could teach what I was taking because most kids, I think, once they hit a certain age or level on school, they'll switch to like online school or they'll chest be out. There aren't a lot of people doing like AP classes, college applications on set. It's like a very specific time in your school career, like that last year and a half of school. It was really hard to find a teacher who specialized in the things that I needed help with. Once we got that sorted, it was really just the time management of it all. Because for anyone listening who doesn't know how this works, there are union laws. So you have to do 3 hours of school a day. But you can do a minimum of 1 hour a day and a maximum of 5 hours a day. You can bank hours to put into your bank, but you can only have up to 5 hours in your bank at a time. So we would do school on weekends to bank hours. We would do school early in the morning, late after set. But then there's also rules of how many hours in a day you can work. So, and you can't do school. If you do school for any less than 20 minutes, it doesn't count. You have to be a 20-minute block. So if it's like 20 minutes, great. If it's 18, the whole 18 gets scrapped.
Wow.
And it was hard too because I chose to keep going to my real school. So instead of being able to go at my own pace whenever I had school, sometimes I'd have blocks of time to do schoolwork and I wouldn't have any assignments yet. And then the day would end and then all my assignments would come through and I would have to then do them like in my own time at home at 1 a.m. But we made it work and I did all my college applications and I got in and then I didn't go to college.
It's okay.
Me too.
You know how it goes. Because the show kept getting extended, which was great, but it meant that I kept deferring. And by the time the show ended, it had been 4 years since I went to college. And I was like, I don't want to do homework. I just got free. What do you mean? So
Very valid.
yeah. Yeah, school was a task. I'm glad that I am no longer in that part of my life.
Yeah, we're both in online college, and it's I left school at 16 and started college right away, and it's like weird. I think I'm gonna be done next year. I should be done at 19.
whatever.
But it's like
Not fair.
I just like
Casual.
I can barely force myself to do it. And I feel like after COVID
Yeah.
too, that was another thing like we went through is like we realized we didn't need it to be successful, and that's when it became hard to like do it.
Yeah, I will say, like now at 26. Sorry, whew, just blacked out for a second there. At 26, as I'm like, I don't really love doing drama. I love sitcom, but there's not a lot of sitcom. I want to produce. I definitely can direct. Music's music, but also TikTok's killing my soul. And I'm starting to think about like, what do I want to do with my life? There is a part of me that's like, ooh, would have been nice to have that first degree done so I could go just straight into a master's. But on the other hand, I'm like, every day that passes, I have a better understanding of how I would actually want to use that. And I think I'll get much more out of it when I do eventually go
Okay, yeah, so you're planning on
later.
going.
Eventually I must. I mean, I love learning. I spend all my time learning about something via the internet. So eventually I'll figure out something that I want to keep learning beyond what I'm able to teach myself, and I'll want teachers, and then I'll go to college and learn, I guess.
Yeah.
I don't know. I've already gotten over the fact that I'm never going to have like a traditional college experience, but neither are you. Neither are any of the kids who lived through college. It's like,
No.
what does that mean?
Yeah.
I went to my share of frat parties. I'm fine.
I feel
Like I've thrown up in enough bathrooms with no toilet paper. Like I'm good. I don't need to do that anymore. You know what I'm talking about.
I definitely was going through that this year because
yeah.
all my friends, like I'm at the age right now where all my friends are entering their freshman year.
Yeah.
And so like dealing with that at first, I struggled the first like 6 months, you would say, of like this past year, just because all my friends were like in college. And I was just like, what is going on? Like, what do I do? Who am I? I'm on strike. I'm not working.
I'm on strike.
I left home. What am
Casual
I doing?
18-year-old behavior. Yeah. Where's home for you?
North Carolina.
Ah, you too?
No, Arizona.
Okay.
Yeah, we met the day
Day
we moved in.
Wow. You guys have spent all day every day together for the last 3 weeks, haven't you?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, we lived together. So
Oh, you're roommates.
Yeah.
And they were roommates.
And we were
oh my God, they were
roommates.
roommates.
Yeah, so we would
So-
see you together, and we'd be like,
Oh, yeah.
That
Oh yeah, I just was told that we apparently all lived together for a very long time in the same apartment complex.
Yeah, like, is that Kira?
Did not know.
Do I wave? I waved at you one time in the mailroom
Aw,
of our building.
I'm sorry I don't remember. Maybe it's better. Maybe it would have been creepy if I remembered.
I think so.
Okay.
Promise we didn't
Would have been like,
stalk
that was you. I thought about it every day for a month. I do be hanging out in that gym. I do be spending
I
time
like
on
that.
those
That gym was
ellipticals. It's
great.
such a
Yeah,
good
it's a
gym.
good gym.
It's part of why I
Yeah.
haven't left. Yeah, we can't say the name of it because I
No.
still live there.
you. We're not going to talk about it.
Let's not dox me on hold for sound. Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
podcast.
But
Anyway.
okay, so with like the rise of social media too,
Oh.
how has that been for you? You have quite a following on
It's a whole thing. Oh, that actually, thank you for reminding me to complete my point earlier, which was I was saying how in acting, it used to be very much just like show up to auditions. And then
Right.
in music, it was make your own opportunities. But you guys are coming up in a very different time where it's because of social media and because of the way it is very make your own opportunities. Like you have to build a following if you want to get cast,
last
which is,
thing-
can I
yeah.
curse on this?
Yeah,
it.
please.
That
Yes.
you have to
Yeah.
do that.
Yeah, we did it.
Yeah.
It's terrible.
Multiple things
so
I
sorry.
auditioned for. It's how like
How many followers?
it's in the
followers
slate.
do you have?
Hi, my name's Lauren Scamp. I'm over 18 and I have blah 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 followers on this platform.
And it's like
I'm so sorry.
it's terrible. Like I think we're trying to like we just talked about this about how hard it is to figure out who you are on social media versus like who you are as an actor.
Yeah, I mean, and it extends to every industry too. I mean, I wasn't able to put a song out unless it went viral on TikTok, or my label wouldn't put out the money for me to put it. Like it's the whole industry is on a chokehold, and I get why. It's people are trying to run businesses, and it's the only way to be viable these days. But it's really sad. Yeah, social media is interesting. It can be a really great place to express yourself and to find your audience, and it can also be a prison.
Yeah.
I have a very complicated relationship with social media, both as a public figure and as a consumer, as somebody who's had somewhat of a career. Influencer was like a really dirty word when I first started doing social media content creation during the pandemic, especially like for actors, but now that's changing. I could talk about it forever, and it's just going to make me sad, so I
know,
won't.
it makes
but
us sad too. We're like
Yeah.
we're confused by it, I think.
No.
Because
it's confused by it.
Yeah.
Businesses are confused. Nobody knows what they're doing. I will not name drop, but I cannot tell you the major corporations that have been like, okay, we're going to make a TikTok for this. And then I'm like, okay, what do you want to do? And they're like, make a TikTok. And I'm like,
What?
right. What is the concept? Well, just make a TikTok. No, okay. Is it trend based? Is it audio? What do you mean? Is it edited out of app? Is it edited in app? Is it text? Is it caption? Is it a meme? Is it funny? Is it authentic? Is it heartfelt? Is it 10 minutes? Is it 3 minutes? Is it 1 minute? What do you want?
Yeah, that's like the whole thing. I don't know. It's like, I feel like for us too, it's like we are coming up in that. And so we're trying to find the balance between like, if people look up our names on the internet, do we want the first thing to pop up and
my
be like,
TikTok
a day
handle?
in my life as Ava Jean? Like, do I want that? Not really.
Yeah, yes, I feel you. It's really it's reminding me of my digital footprint. I came up on social media in a time where we really didn't know what we were doing. But like I was not cute. Like I was, I see my old posts and I'm like, girl.
Yeah.
It's like looking back in your Facebook statuses of like
Literally.
poking people. I'm like, what were we doing? We all spoke a different language of internet back then. And Hank Green said something really interesting about this as someone who's existed on the internet for a long time about if you've been on the internet for a long time and everything that you've posted is still findable. In essence, everything you have ever said is also something that you are still currently saying.
I saw exactly
because
what you're
people are
talking
still watching,
Yep.
and that like freaks
in
me
10
out.
years, what you said 20 years
Right.
ago.
And like because of my trajectory in this career where I had like a lot of eyes on me as a young teenager who I was intellectually smart, but I didn't know what the fuck I was doing. Sure. And then now I think I have a lot more to say and I get asked a lot less frequently because I stepped away from like Hollywood for many years because it was just like bad for my brain. Yeah. It makes me really sad that there are interviews of people asking me things on the red carpet and it's like, what's your favorite beauty trip? And then like, use this lipstick. And now I'm like, I would actually have things to say. Like, that would be potentially helpful if I were asked now. And I hate that I can't go back and
and I think that's like just like a huge part of like growing like as people too and like as a society and figuring out like, well, things change.
Yeah, and we just talked about the difference of being a actor influencer or influencer actor.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a huge thing.
Yeah, like the actor influencer where it's like, today I'm filming a self-tape. It's like we talked about like we don't want to be like, we don't want to do that.
Right. Yeah. What is your niche? Yeah, I think it makes me really sad when every person has to have a USP. Like that's not the point of being human, but it is also you're agreeing to be a brand when you do.
Yep.
And what's interesting is at the end of the day, I'm finding every career and that's at all public facing is all just about being a brand. At the end of the day, no one makes money from music. It's touring and merch. No one really makes money from streaming. Yeah. It's Comic-Con appearances. Like nobody really makes money as an entrepreneur until you go viral. Like it's just that is the means to the end right now. And I think it's sad that we've kind of commoditized humanity. But also it can only, I don't know, it's got to implode on itself at some point.
That's what I said this morning to her.
Like, we give TikTok
3 years. And then heard it here first and then it's gone.
It's like done.
We'll see.
What are some like influences or mentors that sparked your interest in acting?
Ooh, my parents, and not the way that you think. They were not stage parents. Thank the Lord. They were Broadway people. So my dad was a music director. My mom was an actress, singer, dancer, and I grew up backstage at Beauty and the Beast, which is like the last show my mom did. She was in it from like a few years before I was born until I was like 5 or 6. She retired, but I grew up backstage. And
so did Ava.
Did you?
Yeah,
Are you
did.
theater
My
folk?
mom was a Rockette for 15 years.
So was my mom.
No, wait, what?
My mom was a Rockette. Yeah.
Wait, what years?
Oh God, I would have to ask her.
That's insane.
Probably like early 80s.
Yeah, my mom was I think early 90s to 2008.
Yeah, my mom only did it briefly before she was doing Broadway shows back to back for the rest of her career. She did it straight out of SAB. She was a ballerina.
Oh my gosh, I did a training program.
Girl.
Oh my
You're of course you're a ballerina. I'm like looking into a mirror right now.
No,
my little blonde mirror before she was as jaded as I am. But I'm getting the sense that maybe a little bit.
Oh my gosh, yeah, we have probably
cute.
So many like mutual friends.
We'll do the links. We have a bunch of links too that we figured out before this.
Insane.
We'll talk.
We'll talk. Your parents.
But yeah, my parents were always like, my dad was always playing piano. My mom was always singing. Wow. I was always singing. We were always like, I was always around it. And I also was just like, I was a precocious kid. I was a talker, not now. Definitely don't talk a lot now. I talked a lot and I was smart for my age. And so I liked eyes on me because it got me good attention. And so I had such high confidence as a kid. I wasn't scared of anything. I had no stage fright, and I was a gymnast, and I was a cool kid, and I was like daring. And I never shut up, and I bounced around, and I loved being on stage. So it just lent itself naturally to wanting to be a performer and an actor and be on stage. Which is interesting because most of those personality traits have completely changed in the last 20 years. And now I'm like, why did I pick a forward-facing career? I just want to crochet in my little living room and not have to sell myself to people who don't like me or like hear people's opinions of me. I could be so much more famous than I am if I weren't so protective of like not making sure I don't have to deal with any criticism from strangers because I just can't take it. I just can't take it.
You know what? I get that too. I had like outrageous confidence as a kid. Like the way you're
That's
talking
who else
about
gets into this business? Kids who aren't afraid to be rejected by adults because we're crazy.
I do that all the time anyways.
I really thought I was it as a child.
Oh, me too.
I was like, nobody's perfect
except me.
Hannah Montana. Like, yeah.
And nobody liked me, and so it's even more impressive.
Nobody liked me either.
And I was so oblivious. I was so oblivious. I didn't even know nobody liked me.
Yeah,
Kids would do things to bully me, and I was so oblivious of it that my parents would have to be like, "She's being mean to you. Do you I still do that. It's funny. I'm literally having like a That's So Raven moment. It literally just happened to me like 3 weeks ago. I went to a party, and I was like, why did she say that? I was like talking to my fiance, and I was like, that was so weird. And did you notice that? Because I was wearing sunglasses on the dance floor at a party because it was like
for fun.
Yeah, and it was bright in there, and they were like lightly tinted.
I wore
and she was
sunglasses on a carpet.
Yeah, she was like, why are you wearing sunglasses? And I said to her, I was like, to my fiance, I was like, why did she say that? That's so strange. Like, why does she not? Because it's bright. Like, and he literally looked at me. He was like, Kira, she was being mean. And I was like, oh, I was like, why? She was so beautiful. She was like this gorgeous, tall girl with big curly hair. And I was like, she was so pretty. And he was like, yeah, but so are you. Like, she was being mean to make you feel. And I was like, oh.
Oh, yeah. So, no, I totally get that.
Do you have stage fright now?
A little bit. It's
because the pandemic ruined my nervous system.
Oh, it completely.
Interesting.
It gave me the worst anxiety I've ever had in my life, and I can't get rid of it. Like, honestly.
Yeah, I've always had some anxiety in some form or another. When I was little, I had OCD, and my anxiety turned into just like intense time management and other things in my life. But I never had stage fright. Or like that adrenaline poisoning thing that you get.
Yep.
And after the pandemic, like the first time I went to perform, I like couldn't breathe. Yep. It was really weird.
Yep.
Wow. I'm that way on a film. Like, get me on stage. I love being on stage. Get me on a film set, second guessing every single
because it feels more permanent.
Yes.
Yeah. That's
I'm like, the director doesn't like me. I don't know what I'm doing.
So it's funny that you say that. It's why I don't do single camera drama. It's why I only do multicam, because you can hear if people laugh. Instant. I know if I'm doing a good job.
Good.
Wow.
I know if it's funny.
Interesting.
I don't want to second guess. I would love to have the confidence to just be like, I'm giving a performance.
Yeah.
But it's just not.
Wow.
It's not what I do.
Yeah, after COVID, definitely a lot changed for me. And I just became like almost more aware of what people thought of me.
Yeah.
And it was like scary.
I think we've all also become a lot more aware of our perception because we are constantly being perceived.
Yeah. Wild.
This got real sad.
It really did.
I knew it would. I was like reading the questions on my way in today, and I was like, ooh, we're going to talk about some real.
We educate people here.
That's also who I am. I must apologize for that because it's hard for me to not go do. I spoke at my little cousin's like middle school today, and I was just supposed to give like a 10-minute presentation about like girl power and like being a woman in business and inspirational. And I was like, I don't know how to be inspirational. All I know how to be is like, the world is on a downward spiral. Nobody has empathy. The internet is commodifying our intelligence. AI is taking over the world. I think on too many planes at once, and I have hormonal disorders, and I'm always sad, and everything sucks. Like, I don't know how to be.
That is girl power.
That is girl power. That is what we are. It's how we work. It's how we function.
Right? Like,
oh my gosh. Kira, this has been so much fun.
Your openness, like your energy, it's incredible.
Thank you.
We love having you. Where can we find you?
At my apartment complex, apparently. But other than that, please don't come to my apartment complex. You can find me trying to survive on the internet, Instagram, TikTok, Twitter, Kira Kosarin, in all of the places. I'm on Snapchat now, per the recommendation of some social media people in my life. So really feeling like Gen Z with that one. Kira Kosarin with 3 N's. Gonna try to get that changed. Someone took my name. Yeah, find me on the internet, listen to my music, or don't, whatever.
And all the new things that are going to be happening. The movie.
Thundermans Movie.
Thundermans Movie.
Bye.
Bye.